Alright, so I am Lorne. I am currently one of the top 3 runners. Currently, I am second place on the 80% leaderboard for Ty the Tasmanian Tiger. And I'd just like to run you through basically all of the kind of difficult parts that people find for the category. So that would be like all of the skips or just like minor little tricks and stuff like that that people tend to struggle with. In general, the routing on this game isn't too wild. I would highly recommend that you just follow the world record of whenever it is that you watch this video, and then you watch it at 0.75 speed, and that should be fairly easy for you to follow along with, as long as you're comfortable with the game, because all of the movements and everything like that, if you're able to move 25% faster, you're able to catch up, and then if you need to, you just pause briefly. If your keyboard has it, you have media controls on your keyboard. You can even just press it while you're in the game, and you can just keep everything in sync and figure out where you're going from there. That's for learning the route, though. The part that I want to go over today, though, is all of the kind of more difficult stuff, things that really need explaining, where if you don't have it explained to you, it can take sometimes hours to learn how to do some of this stuff properly. For reference, I learned a lot of this game without following too many tutorials or getting specific guidance on things. And because of that, I was still able to learn the game in kind of around 300-ish hours. More like 200. And I think I started pushing to the kind of like top 3 after about maybe 100 to 150 hours of gameplay. So it is very much attainable. Ty the Tasmanian Tiger is the first game that I've speedrun. I do tend to be quite good, though, at most games that I play. Alright, so that is my kind of different categories and stuff like that I do. I also have cheap percent world record. Let's just have a look at the NVIDIA settings first, because quite often your game is actually going to lag quite a bit, despite what you do in your in-game Ty settings. So make sure that you copy these kind of settings here. Not sure what... Yeah, I have that set to 150 as max. I don't think that matters too much. That is all of my settings. Feel free to copy that as you please, and make sure that you have this on performance for Ty at least. Alright, so into Ty itself, we have a look at the options here. I'm just going to turn this down a little bit more for the video. And then we go to screen. These are the settings that I have here. High or mid is important for Bridge Over the River Ty. I personally prefer high, though, just because it allows Dennis to get loaded in a little bit quicker. And then if we have a look, yeah, the rest of these are all just off. Shadows is the only thing that I would consider having on, just because it is nice for some reference points. However, it's generally not too big of a deal. Make sure you have rank select wheel off. And then these are my hotkeys in the game. I like to have control and tab, and next, like, skip cutscene is a little bit different to most runners. It's all personal preference, though. I prefer it on control for my walk, though, just because that's what I'm comfortable for when it comes to like any sort of first-person game. And camera, I have track, body on jump, and Ty's view speed at max. Track, body, and jump is not used by most of the other top runners, so only use this if this is something that you actually prefer. This is what I have gotten used to. I have tried running on the other modes, and I was not comfortable with them. I found that I wasn't able to make as many mid-air adjustments on things. That is why I chose against doing so. However, by no means are you wrong to use the other settings. They're used by top runners there. Yeah, I think that's it with regards to settings and everything like that. So I'll see you at Spy Eggs, which is kind of the first thing that people tend to have a little bit of difficulty with. Alright. Welcome to Spy Eggs, home to probably one of the greatest reset points in 2UP. For Spy Eggs, there's kind of 2 ways that you can approach this. One of them is to run straight at it, and then you kind of just jump here and aim to have Ty pretty much more underneath the kind of second one from the end, and a little bit further away from the third one from the end. The other way, this is how I used to do it, is I would come a bit wider, and then I would approach like this. However, the first way that I showed you there, this is the way that Karma uses, and I believe is about half a second faster. So I would definitely use this one. However, you can very much not make it across there. I only got it by doing a delay bite, which is once again slowing you down. So be very careful about that. Spy eggs is generally one of the largest reset points, though, even for top runners. Thankfully, though, it's within like the first minute of a run, so it's generally not too big of a deal. Okay, so this next skip isn't really difficult at all. You just need to make sure that you actually jump after you get on this dunny, because if you go off of it, then you hit the cutscene. So just make sure that you jump over Julius there. Nothing too complicated. Next up is 2-up skip. This one is currently not in the meta, even for top runners. This one can save between 8 and 10 seconds so far by my experimentation. Currently, at the time of recording this, I'm the only top runner that attempts this on any sort of regular fashion. I only do it on paces that are a second off or higher. It is incredibly reset heavy. I think at my best, I was getting it maybe 10% of the time. So I'll show you how to do it. However, do not get hung up on this one. You will be much better served by practicing almost any other skip in the game. This is only really for top runners. So what you want to do, the way that Brandorn explained it to me, and Brandorn is the person who found 2-up skip, love you Brandorn, is you have this kind of area of rope here. At this area of rope, standing to the left of it, this is where you jump, and then you want to do kind of a gradual turn until you're kind of aiming just at this kind of point here. And then once you hit the water, Ty is kind of going to go under the water slightly, and then you need to react very quickly. Once you get under the water and slightly under it, you actually need to turn to the right so that with that kind of like forward momentum and everything that you have from your initial dive, you are actually then forcing yourself down even deeper, and then you turn left and then ride it down for the skip. So I'll probably give this quite a few goes here, and I'll let you know when I get it. Alright, so I think I got it here. Now I just ride it out to the left, and I managed to get under it, and you spam. That probably took me like 20-25 attempts. So even for runners that have their PB down at kind of the 31, like sub 32 minute pace, it's still even questionable for us. So for Coral and I, it probably still isn't worth it, but as time goes on, as we're starting to push the category to being under 31 minutes and then potentially even trying to push for sub 30, 2-up skip is almost definitely going to be a necessity at some point. And oh boy, the resets are going to be flying in. Alright, I'll come back, but from the 2-rang route instead of the 2-up skip route. 2-up skip route, you just go straight to the buttons and you shoot, come back down there, run to the rangs, go across. But continuing on from the 2-rang route. Alright, for this section to do it efficiently, basically this is from the 2-rang route rather than the 2-up skip route, is you just come around here, you make sure to shoot you guys nice and early. And you get good distance here, get your Thunder Egg, and you jump straight up. There's a method that you can do where you get the Thunder Egg on top of that jump, however, it's a little bit weird. Then you just go for use your menuing, like normal. I will see you in Walk in the Park. Apologies, it's actually Shipwrecks, not Walk in the Park. I was mentally thinking of 100%, which currently I'm learning the route with Walk first. Anyways, so on Shipwrecks here, first kind of thing that you got is making sure that you jump in and spam that cutscene hotkey so that you instantly get the Aqua ranks. Next up is going to be the Bilby. Actually, before Bilby, just one really quick good thing to know is when Ty starts turning to the side here, that means that he's locked onto the button. So just hold slightly right of the center of this gate and you'll hit the button every single time, basically. And I may as well not even pause here. So coming up to the button, you simply go for an extended glide. Extended glides being when you get your second jump and it kind of bumps you up a second time. I think that camera's messing me up there. Yeah, don't know. But anyways, you get your extended glide and you do your bite, you get the Bilby. No slowdown. Next up, we'll go into this minor little skip here. Make sure to get the Seahorse first. I like to shoot the guy. Then you come up to here, and basically once you're standing, basically anywhere along this section you can stand, you just jump and you can do a glide there. You don't have to, but it can help sometimes. Alright, I'll see you at the ship clip. Okay, so this one is done a few different ways. For me, I like to aim just for that kind of corner point there, just in there. And then I go into scope, and then I turn down, and then there's kind of this like upside down U shape in the ground. I just aim kind of on the right side of that, throw both rings. Sometimes you need to do it twice. And then I aim with my scope slightly facing inwards towards the ship itself. That will have my camera set. If I do it like this, then my camera will go all weird. So if I go like this, now I can start swimming forward, and I just do a slight turn out and then turn it back in. That gets the Thunder Egg nice and quickly. Some of the other ways that some of the other top players get that Thunder Egg is they come in here, and then they turn to the side, they throw it at this area there, that gets the door. However, for me, I find most consistent is just going like this. Alright, next up, this one. This is all really back-to-back for this section. Kind of came up a little bit too far to the right. You just come up here, you do an extended glide, you get the ledge grab, and then you can't run past more than kind of like halfway here, so you'll see, okay, you can get quite a bit past halfway. But basically, you need to run up to that area, and then you do another extended glide up there. What's important to note is if you're facing too hard into this wall, you won't get the height that you need. Also, you can't get back up onto the ledge from there. Okay, so when you're doing this, basically, you need to do a little jump outwards. A little jump outwards and then hook back in. And that's kind of the secret to getting it consistently. And then extended glide there. For this one, make sure that you walk up slightly into this kind of nook here, and then once again, another turn out, an extended glide, and one more extended glide there to get you over. And then finally, the little bilby cut here is done by just doing a bite off of the edge. That gives you a quick bite if you do it from far enough back. If you do it too far forwards, you're going to get a launch bite, which is usually what we use. However, in this case, you want the quick fall. Alright, so yeah, coconuts. Alright, so here, we're at the second lot of coconuts. You shoot that first one, just go for a little extended glide there, jump across, shoot the first coconut, and wherever Ty is facing, you can just throw the boomerang, and he will hit there. If you fail the coconuts, okay, you want to go A and D, that will keep you out of the sand, and then eventually this coconut will come up. You don't want to go too rapid with your A and D spamming, and you're able to save it like that. I'm a speed runner! So I just had to do that. Okay, so technically, this is something that we might add in eventually. However, I highly doubt that this is going to be a thing that is used seriously anytime soon. But if you can set up the seahorses into a bit of a triangle shape, you can get a ground swim just here. And then you can actually swim up the mountain. It is not easy though. I almost got it first try. But getting it efficient enough to save time is next to impossible. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you in Walk in the Park. Alright, so this is considered to be one of the hardest skips in the game by many people. There are 3 ways that you can do this. 2 of them on the fast variant and 1 of them on the slow variant. I'll show you the fast variant first though. So, first off, this is the way that I tend to use. There is kind of this kind of like meeting of 4 lines on this kind of polygon here. So as long as you jump before that, that will be your takeoff point. It is hard to, oh sorry, you do quite often time it wrong though, and you end up getting a low jump like that. However, you do get a quick reset on that. The other method is to be running up in between these 2 plants. Basically, well, this one there and that one there. As long as you're kind of on the right, well, as long as you're within the right 2/3 of those 2 plants, you should be fine to take off. So once you get that, we're then aiming to get over this little ridge here. So there's this little ridge that goes across, and once we get over that, that essentially has given us all of the height that we need. What we then need to do is we then need to convert our motion into speed. Make sure that you never do an extended glide or any sort of glide here, okay? You just want to get over that ridge, and then what you do is you turn left, okay? So I turn my camera left like that. so that I just start converting my height into momentum. And that carries me through the entire skip. So that is how I do it personally. I try to do it based on those polygons though, so that I do the skip even faster. The most common thing though that you see is people turning before the ridge, and when they turn before the ridge, they don't get enough height. And then they end up trying to turn tie going like that, and they don't get the height. So simply get above the ridge and then convert your momentum and just trend right along the bottom of that ridge so that you're using as much height as possible for speed. Next up is the fast version. That is done, the slow version. That is done by coming up on top of this box, and then you simply do an extended glide just into this bamboo area. And then from here, you do an extended glide and you jump around there. You fall down here. Now, next up, we have the ground swim. Some of the other runners, they use ground swims. I think they do it off of this one, or it might be this one. Yeah, that might be the one. There's a whole bunch of ground swims around here. I personally use kind of this little... Oh, at least I think I use this crack. I use something in here. Either way, this entire side of the wall is just covered in ground swim. So you get a ground swim up here, and that takes you into Waterfall. This is also considered to be one of the most difficult tricks in the game. This level is full of them. So, for this one, okay, to teach it to you, I'm just going to go through it very slowly, okay? So, simply put, you get on top of this entire kind of general first ridge here, okay, cool, we're now into the waterfall. So now, I want you to take note of this kind of groove that runs up through the entire waterfall, okay? We need to work with this groove, not by swimming into it, but kind of transitioning between the two. So what I mean by that is for the first section of the groove, you want to be on the left of it until you get to around here. At that point, you want to be into the groove, and then you want to be left of the groove again, and then you hook up to the left, but holding into the right of the gap in between the rocks. So we go up left here, now I hook in right, and now I turn left again, and then I hook right again. That is ultimately what we do, however we do that at maximum swimming speed. So I'll show you the fast reset point, which is here. That is how you get into your swim again the fastest. The other point as well, if you're struggling to get that other one, is just here. You go jump bite, and that will get you the ground swim almost every single time. Make sure that you're on new patch for this, of course. So we go into it max speed, we go left, right, and of course I stuff it up there. It's going to be hard for me to say it quickly enough. But you get the height beforehand, go left, right, left, right. And then you make sure that when you're coming into this area, that you do the tiniest turn up and then you look straight down, okay? Because getting tie to go down is one of the most important parts in that section. Here, you start your scope when you're halfway onto this platform, you shoot the bats and you turn around and you point tie's view into the direction that you want to go there, because this will be a quick turn, and that's why we have tie's view, camera speed or whatever in our settings set to max so that we can do that turn quickly. Here we come out of the section, and if you're really trying to save milliseconds, you can even start coming up early into that. And then what we're looking for here is just this angle where we're touching the log. Once you've touched the log, you're good. Then you wrap up to the left and you get the thunder egg. That is done at, well, when it's done at full speed, it will look something like, oh, wrong groove. When it's done at full speed, it will look something like this. And if you do all of this perfectly, you're able to get to bats basically within the first frame that they are landing. For throwing your boomerang, make sure that you throw it basically at these mushrooms here. That will hit almost every single time. It doesn't matter if you lose your ground swim after this. There's not really any need for it. So we're just going to be waiting at the top here now. And yeah, I may as well just get this here. Alright, so now we have Bat Egg, and we come down here, and there's two options for doing this little skip. Once again, you use this easy ground swim point, First way is the fast way. It's by going up here, and then you can see that the kind of side of this entire rock here, the angle of it kind of changes. Once you get onto this and then you're following it up here, you're pretty safe. However, what the easiest mistakes to do is going too far to the left and you fall down like that, or you don't correct into the new angle of the rock. So that's why the safer method is just coming up here to the groove and swimming straight up and across. However, if you do any amount of practice with it, you should be able to follow it just fine. And make sure that you just swim over this. You're holding W. Don't spam spacebar, otherwise you're going to fall off the side of this mountain. And do not look over to the right, down this way, because if you go down there, you're going to fall into the void, which I was actually kind of close to there. So if you do that quickly, you'll just do the whole sliding down the mountain and it'll be really smooth, unlike what I did there. All right, for approaching turkeys. Oh, also you can practice that entire skip. You can re-practice that by getting a ground swim here. And then swimming back up. Just make sure that you hold over to the right, because if you go to the left, you go into the void again. All right, and that's the kind of sliding down that I was talking about. Okay, so here for approaching turkeys, make sure that you approach kind of to the right of this opal, and then right here, you basically need to be really focusing on what direction the turkey is going. If it goes to the right, you need to react and you need to bite out that kind of direction. If it goes to the left, then you just follow it and you bite kind of right in front of the tree. So let's see what it does here. Okay, it went to the left. This is the simple way. You just throw your boomerang there and you bite the turkey on your way. Finally, what I like to do is I like to have my camera zoomed in and facing away from me, and then I just hold S and A. Why did I take slow lily pad there? But whatever. That's kind of the entire section there for walk. Alright. I will see you on bridge entrance. Alright. So, now for fast bridge entrance. What you do here is you pre-turn the camera to this angle. Make sure you are fully zoomed in and that you hold your camera down as you do this. You want to try and get your camera through here, through that gap, and you do a quick double tap. If you don't get your camera through that section cleanly, then your camera is going to get completely caught up on that doorway and you're not going to be able to see anything until you are literally down here. So make sure to be careful with what you're doing with your camera there. To get your ground swim, make sure that you are to the left of this kind of light beam kind of going down the side of this rock. Just do a ground swim, jump bite, nice and quick. Let me come up here. And this one can throw off people. Make sure that you go to the left of that plant. If you go to the right, you're going to screw it up. Trust me. Alright, go up to the left of this plant. Alright, now here, fastest way to go up is just right at this area here. Be really careful as you're trying to go up this section though, okay? You need to stay on the ground until you are touching that wall, okay? If you turn up early at all in any of this area in Rainbow Cliffs, far from water, you're going to lose your ground swim instantly. So please stay down low until you are literally touching the wall, and then you can turn up sharply. Delay jump there, and just simply do a glide and fall into bridge. Nice and quick. That saves about 4 to 5 seconds over doing the standard walking round. Next up, we jump on top of this box. Make sure to get an extended glide there and a second extended glide. Most people just do single jumps and then they end up doing multiple jumps there. Do an extended glide there, that will make that simpler. Then we simply dive off of there. Sorry, I just did 100% route for a moment. I apologize. And we swim back up to here. And this one, you basically just want to be to the right of this little dark section here where those kind of like 2 bits of Ty's hair are. You just want to do an extended glide there. Should be a nice and easy jump. Alright, I'll see you at the backup strat. Actually, before the backup strat, this is another thing that might potentially make it into the run eventually, and that is spider skip. So simply put, you aggro the spiders onto you, and then they run towards you. And then once they've stopped moving, you can get a jump on top of them, you can get on top of the dunny. There is a chance that you can soft lock like that. So I will once again see you at the recovery point that I was going to tell you about. Alright, and yeah, sorry, I had to go back and get it. I'm sorry I couldn't do that to you, Brandon. Okay. Yeah, you just get an extended glide from the single spider if you do get a single spider. And then you just come up here, get the Bilby. Now, if you happen to fall down this jump, because no one's ever done that ever, never, definitely not Lorne, you just want to get to this area and then you do a whole bunch of wiggles like that and you can get up. Coral says not to bite. I say bite if you're incredibly, incredibly close, like that. Personal preference, though. Personal preference. Alright, I'll show you... Oh, actually, while we're here, may as well show you a Delight skip. This is a nice skip for 100%. And this will also introduce a topic that I'll go over in more depth later. But that is called scope. Like scope stands, basically. That is when you jump over things and then you hold scope as you're pressing W. That will make you instantly scope and stay perfectly still. Then you let go of scope and jump in the same frame. That lets you do jumps over things. Anyways, I'll see you at the next point that I feel is worth mentioning. In case it's useful to anyone wanting to know routing stuff, there's a ground swim location there. However, that is currently not used in any category. Okay, 360s. For these ones, basically you want to exit the water for the Dennis 360, kind of like right around here. And then you basically want to go like ASDW in a very short window, basically, while doing an extended glide. This one isn't as strict as the turkey one, but you do need to be quite accurate about how you do it. Alright, so this 360, once again, you kind of just come up along here, in between these two areas, and once again, same concept, however that one's quite a bit tighter. Now, for these turkeys, okay, Tai Chomp, okay, that's all I need to say, Tai Chomp. It's an emote from when I failed my first sub 35 or whatever. I almost went from 35 minutes to like 33 minutes straight away, but because of Tai Chomp biting one of the lizard guys over there, that kind of got in my way. So what I like to do is I like to have my flame rings out. These have slightly larger hitboxes and I can actually kill them as well. But what I do is I basically aim to go along this line and then bite in towards that turkey. Then I run straight across to the other one. And if this guy is in the way, like he is right there, what I will do is I will throw my rang while I'm on my way, like as far as I can. And then I will throw the second rang to kill him. And then that will make sure that when I get to the turkey that I bite and I don't target onto the enemy instead of the turkey. Generally, they won't be in the way, but sometimes they will be, so just be careful of that. I'll see if I can make sure that he is in the way, though, for this demonstration. Alright, so he's going to be in the way shortly. Another thing with shooting them is it means that they stop walking. Alright, here we go. That's one. And from here, I shoot him. Stay to the right a little bit. There we go. And that's how you do that. Then you just go you go A and S and D, and that's how you get back to Outback there. Now, start of Outback, very simple. You just go up to Shazza, you talk to her, and then you go into Ranger Ken. Apologies, I don't have my dual inputs set up at the moment. My controller is a little bit busted. But yes, there isn't really too much else besides routing for this. Yeah, so I will probably see you in No Worries. May as well show it for emus. Kind of general technique that you want to use is you want to start throwing at them as soon as you can with Tai facing towards them so that you can get a lunge going towards them. Now, if you delay doing your lunges too soon, like this, then you're not actually able to do a lunge to pull them in. So you need to make sure that you get your lunge in relatively quickly after landing the hook. And that's typically how you will go for getting your emus. Emus are very much skill-based and very much luck-based, so it's frustrating. You can dismiss a lot of mistakes due to the RNG, but do keep in mind that emus are also very difficult as well, skill-wise. Alright, I will see you in No Worries. Alright, and this is how you get Lawn Swim 100% of the time. Just kidding. Would have been a good meme if I did get it though. No, so Lawn Swim is basically like a 1 in 30 skip that is coming at like the 23-minute mark in the run. So we go for it because you only lose like half a second to try and get it, and at worst you save 7 seconds. At best, if we change off of using hardcore, it can save a bit more than that by using respawn strats. We haven't gone too much into details on how much that exactly saves. I was a bit more inexperienced when I was working out all of that stuff. But essentially, what you want to be doing is you want to be coming up, and then you're kind of having contact with the side of the thing turned out a little bit to the side, and then you turn back in, and you kind of maintain your swim like that. It's a bit strange. And yes, the frill can fall into the water. Frill taking dips. That's how it is. But yes, highly, highly inconsistent. The general way that we use the lawn swims when it does happen though is we just take it up to the bilby there, and that saves about 7 seconds. So yeah, if we do find a way to do it consistently, then you will see it, and we will be considerably less hyped about it happening after a while. But yeah, it is not a common thing right now. I'll see you in icicles. Alright, so icicles, you get these damn spiders, and they love to jump on you, they love to attack you, they love to get in your way. Now, if the spiders are accessible to you to bite, go for it. Depends on your pace, how conservative you want to be. Now, the setting that changes how the icicles look, I believe, is Bloom. No, not Bloom. Reflections. And one of the settings in there, I can't remember exactly which one it is, considerably changes how the icicles look color-wise. So please play around with them. Try turning everything off, and that will make it considerably easier to do. The order goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue. Simple as that. They go in ascending order in terms of pitch, and then you just get that fun drag. Now, I'm not going to pause the recording here because the next thing is immediately, and that is basket skip. It's a very minor thing. It basically saves you having to jump there, and then back. Instead, you jump while moving onto that basket there, and then up. The way that I do this is I use my walk mode. So I jump, and then I do walk mode to lock myself on top of it, basically. And that works for me almost every time when I'm looking downwards. So I'll get that frill there, and now jump, walk mode, boom. A little bit awkward. You can definitely mess it up, and I have not run the game so much in the last few weeks. But that is how you do it then. You can do a bite off that one, and get that bilby. Do be careful with that bite though, you can make yourself fall. There's a backup where if that bilby is still alive, you can do an extended jump and bite, and it will take you up top. Do be careful. Wait, no, sorry. I think you need to do that from back here. There's a point that you can get soft locked in there. You get a little bit of height, and then you do the extended glide jump to get the thing. Yes, we don't do that very often though, because there's a decent chance of getting soft locked. Alright, see you at mill skip. Alright, now, your preparation for mill skip. I don't think I've ever been hit by one of those. Anyways, your preparation for mill skip starts here, because if you get punched by one of these guys, there's a chance that you will not be holding one of your ranks. In that slight chance that you are not holding your ranks, throw both of them, you'll be good. Alright, now, to do your mill skip, okay? This is essentially a 180 jump, however, it's done using the camera when you're on mouse and keyboard. If you're on a controller, then you kind of just round the stick around and you kind of like hook back on like that. It's more like what you do on like bridge. So, for this, simply you just run at it from kind of like one tie's body away, and you do a nice tight turn and like that. Now, a really important piece of information to know is basically as long as you fall and manage to make it onto anywhere on that part of the cliff face, you will be safe. So I can actually intentionally fall down like this, and then you will see as long as I am anywhere on this area, I will not be sliding down. So if you fail, make sure you come to the right. You'll be able to jump up and you'll be able to recover within a few seconds, okay? For anyone looking for sub 40-minute runs, okay, that is going to help you a lot, okay? Because falling down there wastes a lot of time. If you are running on hardcore, you cannot do a death reset. Death resets you typically would do by going to the left of the arena or down to the frills over by the water. That's typically how you would do that to get back up here as fast as possible. Do be careful that you don't hit any other dunnies on the way to doing your death reset though. Now, to do your mill skip, simply you're doing a 180 with an extended glide. That is all there is to it. And you're wanting to get onto that post. So 180 with an extended glide, one tire's body out. And you should be able to get this to being almost every single time. So there, I didn't get my ledge grab. Ledge grabs are faster for resetting. However, I'm able to use the side of the mountain there to bail me out. It does take quite a bit to reset. That's the faster reset method. But that's how you want to do the mill skip. This is typically one of the harder skips for most new players, and it's also one of the most punishing skips to reset on if you do not know how to reset safely. Alright. And just turning in the kids. And we're out of the level. To do the jump into Rex, you simply do A and extended glide and spam your cutscene. I will see you at gate skip. Alright, so there is two ways of doing gate skip. There is the ice platform method, which is what I started out with, and then there is the standard jump method. The standard jump method requires almost no setup. You can do basically a setupless version where you exit the water here and you go straight into it like that. That one I find is a bit less consistent, so Karma and I both go for the like press reset or whatever, the press setup, which is where you press up against here, and then you're just doing a quick little loop with tie walking. And you go in like that. You're basically aiming slightly to the right of this lighter section here, and that is the section that you're aiming for. You jump, bite, jump, bite, jump, bite. It's very much quite rapid. Okay, and then you come up the tree, and once you get to kind of like halfway inside of the leaves, you turn to the side a little bit with your camera, and then you jump out. Now, I rushed it a little bit there. The reason why I rushed it is because if you stand in the tree there, you stand kind of like in that standing mode or whatever, then if you're there for more than like 2 seconds, then you will actually fall out of the tree. Okay? So once again, we get up here, into the leaves, tap ourselves over that, we look out, and then turn back in. The reason why we have to look out is because if you're looking perfectly forward towards the wall, then for one, you're not going to get the distance out that you need, and two, you're actually going to hit the tree, and you're going to lose a lot of your momentum from your initial jump, and you're not going to get the overall distance that you need. I like to go up this at a 3 out of 4 speed for my swim, and there we go, just like that. You're probably going to need to practice this a lot. It took me about 3 hours before I was able to get my first successful gate skip. Now I can get it back to back to back to back. Okay, so it takes a lot of practice. Thankfully, this one is right at the very beginning in the hub world. So as you're learning the rest of the run, as you're kind of going through the different hubs, learning the different levels, I would recommend that you just do a little bit of practice on gate skip every time that you're trying to make practice at working on the game. Anytime that you're doing races or that you intend to do like full runs and stuff, make sure that you do a few gate skip practices before you go into it, because it's really going to do you well to be more consistent at this trick. This is genuinely one of the biggest reset points in the run. That comes at basically the 25-26 minute mark at world record pace. So it's tough when you lose this. Alright, next one is... Oh, actually, I forgot to do the ice platform method. This is going to be one that some of you should probably learn how to do as well. Admittedly, I only really did this one when I had light. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright. Yeah, okay, so I think the point is around here. And then you're looking to over there. We throw the ice platform there. You want to be on the middle of the ice platform. Then you look to the left of that kind of white, like that lighter section there. You aim in here. You jump, you dive. Okay? That is how you do that with the ice platform. People do like to place the ice platform in different locations. I don't use this method anymore though, because it takes like 5 seconds to set up, which at my level is a lot. That's basic. 5 seconds is like 10% of the entire mistakes that I'm allowed for the entire run, so I would rather just have my skip done faster. Alright, so as I was saying, heading over to cast skip now. Alright, the infamous cast skip. This is probably one that challenges new players more than you would think. It is a single step trick, so it's not too complicated to get into, unlike gate skip. The sections on gate skip aren't too hard, however, when you put them together for a new player, suddenly that makes it something that's like, you know, 1 in 10 times 1 in 10 makes it a 1 in 100, basically. For this, though, you know, 1 in 10, they'll just get it 1 in 10, that kind of thing. So, this one, generally easier to get into for new players. It's also one that you'll want to practice a lot because this can be a real run killer at the end for some people. Yeah, Karma's lost a few runs to this, I've lost runs to this, Coral's lost runs to this, we all lose runs to this from time to time. So it's good that you know the different ways how to do it as you kind of progress through your different skill levels. So for me, I like to take kind of the middle of the road method where it feels, to me, very safe. I basically get it first, second try every single time. I do the tree scope method. So for that, I'm just holding my scope. For me, I have it on tab, so it doesn't affect my mouse movements at all. And then I just simply let go of tab and jump at the exact same time, and I get an extended glide off of the tree. Now, the other two methods. The next easy-ish one is the bite method. This one kind of basically is just aiming to stick you onto the tree via using a bite instead of using the scope. This one basically doesn't require you to perfectly time taking off a button and pressing a new one. However, you'll see that you are unstable after you leave the bite. So, essentially, from that position, this is a skip that, well, this method is kind of more used, I would imagine, by controller players, where they then have a few frames window, because their buttons don't tend to be able to be pressed quite as quickly as like keyboard and mouse inputs. So you might want to consider doing bite method if you're on controller. Really freezing up there. Actually, seems to be my computer. Let me just check something. Yeah, okay, I just had a program that was using a whole bunch of RAM that I had to close. Alright, so yeah. Using the bite method is something that would more so be useful for controller players because it's more than a single frame being able to input it, basically. Next method is just complete no stop. That one saves like 0.2 of a second over the scope method, so generally I wouldn't recommend it. However, you can get pretty consistent with it. And I definitely have used this method quite a bit when doing cheat percent. However, when I'm at the end of like a 30-ish minute run, I don't want to risk it usually, so that's what I'm going for. Now, some other points that are worth mentioning is kind of mid-air adjustment. This is why I use track on body, because it means I'm able to see the top of the tree itself, and I'm able to move tie left and right by turning my camera like this, so that I'm able to aim right over top of it. So that is why I use this camera setting. It allows me to be much more consistent on cast skip here. And then also generally I just prefer the feel of how jumping is throughout the rest of the game. Because if you have like non-track on, like if you don't track on body or whatever, track on jump, then you're not going to be able to see the top of the tree properly. So anyways, your scope, you almost get it every single time from my experience. It has been quite a while since I have lost a run to not getting onto the top of the tree. typically going completely over the top of it is the most common thing that happens when I do miss it. But yeah, first, second try will almost always happen. Alright, so from here, what we do is, if you want to be really precise, you aim to the left of, well, you aim basically at this green section here, and you just go for your extended glide, then you wrap around. Make sure that you get kind of past this water area before you go... damn. I think I went a little bit too far. But essentially, you want to get into this kind of area that will give you the ability to dive. I'll actually re-enter the level, because this is an important one to cover, so I'll see you back at the skip. Alright, so just here, jump. And there, I did it too early, so that meant that I hit a higher water plane, and then I leveled out. Okay, thankfully there is a dive reset spot right here, okay? And that allows you to then go over here. Make sure that you get basically past this section here. These kind of like parts of rocks right there, before you turn to the right. As long as you go far enough that way, you can actually get quite high. Okay, you can see that I'm basically at standard water level. You can get to this kind of level. Like, that's what you need to actually get out of the water, as long as you go far enough out. So be very, very strict about getting nice and far over to the side. Obviously, you don't need to be way out here, okay? But get far enough. All right, I'll show you the whole thing, hopefully smoothly through this time. All right, here it goes. There we go, made it far enough. Now I aim to get far enough over here, and then I turn. And now I'm aiming just for that little area there. And then the next little thing is instantly in the level, so I'm just going to keep it going. It's right at the very end here. Is where the portal is. Some people do bites there. I'm one of them. Most people don't. You jump and then you do a bite. Now, there is another method where you can jump on top of the bomb. However, typically just doing jump and bite right next to this this line here, basically, that's going to do it for you. I wasn't actually expecting that guy to be up there. But yes, so just jump and bite, and that's going to get you up. Alright, I will see you at the next point that I think of. Actually, I may as well cover this. So there is a proposed route where you actually swim instantly over this way. And then you're able to just barely... You're able to just barely get into throwing mode there. And you can actually hit this button. Okay. And then if you manage to hit that button and get back over to Shazza quickly, like that, then it's going to set Shadow up to go up sooner. It's not particularly easy, and we haven't done enough experimentation with it. It's something that does need more work before we consider implementing this. But just throwing it out there as a possibility. For now, though, just do the standard Shazza, or just follow whatever is in the world record at the time of recording. If you get hit along this section as well, you don't lose any HP. In fact, I may as well just show the whole Shazza section, just so that you know what to do, because Shazza can really mess up people. Alright, you can kill these guys using your flame rings. Oh god. I was actually a bit late to that. But as long... Basically, what you want to do for this section is once she goes across these pipes, that is when you shoot the... Sorry. Once you hear her screech, that is when you shoot the button as she's approaching this area. And then once she crosses that is when... Like, once she crosses the pipes, that is when you run across. I might be a little bit late to the final section. We'll see. Just from explaining. Yeah, I'm probably going to be late. But essentially, for this one, right there, on that final scream that she does, that is when you would hit the button. In this circumstance, okay, as long as you don't go across here, she's not going to go charging at you. She will send out the bats after you. However, you don't want to get her chasing after you herself. So just hit the thing from here, and that will put her into the vent, and that is how you get the final hit on her. If she starts chasing you on that final one, she will basically chase you until she dies. Or you get over to until you get over to the other side of the thing. It's very annoying to deal with. Anyways, here, this is the turret pass run I go with. You have to wait until the turret faces towards you, because the hitbox for what the ice rang needs to hit, the frosty rang, is on the front of the turret. You will typically take 2 to 3 damage. So that was a little unfortunate, but now we go through here. You can jump over that without using any glides. Now, simply put, we just hit as many of these as we can, and we try not to get messed up by the enemies there. It's a bit tough. But anyways, this is the end of the game. This is where you scrape to your heart's content. It can be very risky to scrape. You can lose the entire run. And you can lose basically... yeah, you can lose the entire run. You typically just hold left for the entire route. And you should not be scraping as tight as I'm doing here, because this is not a timed run. I don't really care about how tight this is. But anyways, I hope that these kind of explanations of everything are helpful for you. I might make something like a full run type tutorial at some point. I almost did do that, to be honest, with the amount that I've been talking. But yes, these are generally all of the skips that people tend to have difficulty with, or kind of just interesting / difficult things. Alright. And especially things that I found difficult, or hard to learn without guidance. Walk in the Park is going to be one of your absolute biggest reset points as you're learning the category. Mill Skip, as long as you know the reset points on it, generally isn't too bad. Damn. Okay, that's why you don't scrape that hard. Okay? But yeah, Gate Skip, Cast Skip. Make sure that you practice lots of Gate Skip. Another fun little thing as well. This is called Doom Clip. You're able to get up here, and by going through the mech, as I did there, you're actually able to see the entire outside of the Doomerang section. Thank you, Brandorn. This is beautiful. Okay, but you're able to see the entire outside of the Doomerang section. Potentially, that is still to be figured out. We might be able to run into this kind of like black box here at the end and skip the ending, like skip the whole Doomerang section, basically. Anyways, I don't think there's too much else to say. Feel free to @ me in the Tide Discord. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I've really enjoyed getting into this game again. I've only been running for 3 months. I played this game when I was a kid, and honestly, to find the community that I did find for it was very heartwarming to see. And Karma, Coral, Bruh, Brandorn, Alex, Wolfgirl, NES, whole bunch of the people there in that Discord, Rob, Silver, so many great people. I can't name them all. I named a whole bunch there. Have just made me feel so welcome, and I genuinely hope that you consider learning how to speedrun this game, and that you get to meet some of these incredible people. We're all here just to enjoy Tide the Tasmanian Tiger, after all. It's a game from 2002. Hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you on the speedrunning leaderboard, okay? I would love to see way more sub 35-minute times. Alright, take care, and bye for now.